mixed-ish. Like, the whole entire show is mixed-ish in itself. So like, what are we really doing? Guys, it's Sophie. For today's video, I'm going to be doing something that has been pretty requested. The initial request was to react to the Mixed-ish trailer, but I already watched it and I don't think I want to react to that right now in the video. So I'm going to link it down below, but I will be discussing it, my first reactions, how I feel about it, just some backstory. I am a fan of Blackish. I loved Blackish. I love Anthony Anderson, who plays Andre. I love Tracy Ellis Ross. Grownish was not really the biggest fan of. I mean, I love the concepts. I think that it's great. I don't think Yara Shahidi is the best actress, but we'll save that for another day. I'm just giving like my honest opinions because this video is going to be pretty honest. So I watched season 1 of Grownish, didn't watch season 2, but I have, you know, knowledge about the life that is the Johnsons. When I heard about Mixed-ish, my first initial thoughts were that it looked interesting until I watched the trailer. So basically Mixed-ish focuses on Rainbow, who Tracy Ellis Ross plays, focuses on her life as a child growing up in the 70s. So Rainbow, present day, is a doctor. She lives a middle to high class family life with her husband and five kids? Yeah, 5 kids. Blackish has, you know, touched upon Rainbow's childhood and her upbringing. Dre always joked about how she grew up in a cult, how her parents are hippies, stuff like that. But Mixed-ish like goes full force into that. So I think that the concept of making a show about Rainbow is cool. My only thing is that it is so unrealistic to our current relations in the Black community between light-skinned people and dark-skinned people. I personally have always hated the divide, but I mean, it literally has been there since slave days. So that somebody needs to unpack the divide that light-skinned and dark-skinned people have, but I think Mixed-ish just goes about it the wrong way. Mainly because, okay, number one, I truly and wholeheartedly do not know who this show is meant for. I don't know who it's meant for. It's definitely not meant for dark-skinned people, because we sitting over here like, bitch, like, we got our own problems. Like, the show's audience I don't think was meant for us. Maybe mixed people, like, period, just like a show that mixed people can relate to. But you know, Rainbow grew up in a cult and now has to navigate living in a regular suburban home, going to a regular school. There was a scene in the trailer where this dark-skinned boy walks up to Rainbow and her 2 younger siblings, all very light-skinned, and he goes, "What are you weirdos mixed with?" And then a whole entire table of dark-skinned kids just start like laughing, and I'm like, how convenient. How convenient that you had all of this dark skin to make fun of these 3 mixed kids. I'm not trying to diminish anybody's experience and say that, you know, these things don't happen, but I just find it so odd that I haven't seen one episode of Blackish where they've unpacked dark skin discrimination or touched upon it or things like that. And first of all, I'm not surprised that they have, because Blackish is Mixed-ish. Like, the whole entire show is Mixed-ish in itself. So like, what are we really doing? I just feel like it paints an unrealistic picture of what has been going on between light skin and dark skin relations in the Black community and what still is going on. Like, it, especially today. First of all, if we look at colorism and what it is and how the closer you are to being white and as many Eurocentric features that you have, you are considered better than, or prettier, or more desirable than someone who doesn't. And that's been going on since the slave days to this day, but just modified, just changed. Nobody wants to unpack that. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna watch it because I don't see myself, just by the trailer, I don't see myself enjoying it. And also, it's so disappointing because there are so many other ways that you can go about unpacking mixed issues or light-skin issues than the way that they're doing it. I watched this other girl's video where she talks about Mixed-ish, and she's actually mixed herself, and I agreed with so many of the things that she said. Earth moved Nova, it's called Mixed Girls Thoughts on Mixed Dish. She goes into how, you know, the family unit within a mixed household. She was talking about they could have had a white mother and a black father. Why black men choose white women, and she was talking about how their political views align, and white mother with black children, how that entire family unit works, even though the continuity wouldn't work out because Rainbow doesn't have a white mother. Also, Rainbow's mother is fully dark skinned in Mixed Dish and fully light skinned in Blackish. I don't know what happened. I don't know if just she wasn't getting enough sun, but that continuity was way off. I think my main problem with the show is what I saw in the trailer made it seem like growing up being mixed was hard because of the color of your skin. That's just not a thing. Like, I'm sorry. Like, especially if you're looking at Rainbow and her two siblings are light as hell. To me, I just find it so unrealistic because when I was growing up in middle school, being mixed was in. I went to a predominantly white school, but there were a lot of black kids, and whenever you would ask like somebody who is black or mixed, like, where are you from? They'll name like 5 different countries, like, oh, I'm black, but I'm also this, and I'm this, and I'm this, and I'm this, and I'm that, and my mother's from this, and this, and this, and that, and like, I'm mixed with so many things. Like, that was in. Like, being mixed was like a good thing. It was weird to just be like, oh, I'm black. Like, I'm black, I'm dark as shit. Like, I'm black. I'm as black as it gets. Like, and that was literally me. Like, I couldn't say that I was mixed with anything because I'm not. My entire family's dark skinned. My mother's from Haiti, my dad's from Bermuda, but we're all just black as hell. I don't know, I definitely personally couldn't relate to it. And again, I'm not trying to diminish anybody's experience, but I'm still growing up in this generation. I went to middle school in this generation, and the show is coming out for people in this generation, and it's just not realistic. It's like the more things you're mixed with, the better now, because nobody just wants to be like, oh, I'm just black. Or like Dominican people who don't want to admit that they're black, because it's like being black and dark skin is still seen as something that's not desirable, and that's just a fact. Like, that's just a fact. That's what colorism is. Again, I haven't seen the show. I don't know if they're going to try to unpack colorism, but I really hope they do. I don't think they will, because again, the show is literally called Mixed Dish. It surrounds Rainbow Johnson's life being a mixed girl with her 2 mixed siblings. Just watching the trailer kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, especially watching that little dark-skinned boy. Like, what are you weirdos mixed with? Like, that's not a weird thing. Oh my gosh. I guess if they're the only mixed kids in the school, then maybe. If they're the only mixed kids, then I guess. If we're looking at black relations as a whole, it's not like that. Like, that's just not a realistic representation of the black community and the intersections within it. The real thing is that within the black community, the lighter you are, the better. That's just a thing. It's sad that that's a thing, but that's literally a thing. It doesn't have to be forever, but because it is now, you have to be able to talk about that. Like, it's like the elephant in the room. You have to mention it. I am acknowledging that the show takes place in the 70s, like when Rainbow Johnson was growing up. Like, it doesn't take place now. It's coming out now in 2019, so I'm just sitting here wondering, like, who is this for? Like, who is this show for? Who did you write this for? I really want to see who the writers were in that writer room, because I don't think there were any dark-skinned people there. I'll bet a good sum of money that there were no dark-skinned people in that writer's room, because if there were, how much you want to bet that that little boy would not have said that? Like, those are basically my thoughts on Mixed Dish. Oh, also, can't believe I almost forgot. I asked for your thoughts in Instagram. I said mine, but I wanted to read some of yours. I said, what are your honest thoughts on the concept of Mixed Dish? So we're gonna read some. If anything, in today's world, mixed people are super praised and loved. It is sort of a joke, TBH, because I'm sure mixed people go through things, but not like dark skins. Confused how this will stretch as a series. Why not an origin episode? But this could be interesting. I thought that too. I agree with that, because Blackish loves doing origin episodes and episodes dedicated to certain things. I'm really curious to see how this is going to last as a series. Like, I don't mean to sound like this, but like, how much can you really talk about when it comes to these things? Like, I feel like you can get a lot within one stretched out episode. They could have one little cute season but not a second one. I honestly don't know what to say besides like why. I feel like it would be an interesting twist to see how everything plays out. I'm very excited for it just because I love Tracy Ellis Ross and because I'm mixed. And that's another thing that I want to mention too. If you are excited about the show, I don't want to take away from that. Be excited about the show. These are just my personal opinions. You can disagree, you can agree, but I'm not trying to speak for the dark skin community or anybody. I'm literally just speaking based off of my opinion. I'm black. This shit is so dumb. It portrays black people in such a negative light while using members of its own community. This isn't even how mixed people are treated. I think it blatantly disregards the concept of colorist and the relative privilege mixed people get. I think the concept of the show is okay-ish. I just don't, oh, I like that. I just don't want them to be only one-sided, if that makes sense. So those are all of the responses that I'm going to read. You now know my opinion on Mixed-ish. So yeah, that is basically it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all very much. Also, if you aren't following my Instagram and my Twitter, those are always linked down below. I'll put the username for them right here. And yeah, I'm gonna go. I love you all so much, and I will see you next Saturday with another new video. Bye!
I think that I've been dead since the start. Haven't took too much inside my heart, but I don't even care no more. I'm gonna